Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You're watching The Big Picture with me, Frank Pereira. The rift within the opposition widened on Monday after Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar took the parties to task for failing to come up with an alternative narrative to the ascendant Bharatiya Janata Party. Instead of picking on themes like rural distress and its impact on farmers, the opposition, Nitish Kumar said, was being reactive, allowing the BJP and Prime Minister Narendra Modi to keep the initiative. Implicitly, Kumar was targeting the Congress, which has assumed the role of pulling together an anti-BJP coalition. The relations between the two are already strained after the Bihar Chief Minister decided to back the BJP candidate in this month's presidential election. The Chief Minister elaborated that by setting an alternative narrative in the 2015 Bihar elections, the Grand Alliance had been able to upstage the BJP-led NDA. On this edition of The Big Picture, we will analyze if the opposition has an alternative narrative. Joining me on the program today are A.K. Bhattacharya, Editorial Director, Business Standard; Professor Apoorvanand, Department of Hindi, University of Delhi; Ashok Tandon, Senior Journalist; and P.M. Narayanan, Chief Producer, South Asia Bureau, German TV. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on this edition of The Big Picture. Mr. Bhattacharya, I'd like to begin with you. You know, Nitish Kumar came out and said something that has probably shaken up the Congress a little bit at the moment. But do you believe that that is something that the opposition or the Congress primarily needed at this point in time, someone telling them what exactly is going wrong?
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more on that. I think the way the opposition political parties in this country have behaved in the last couple of years at least, where they are not picking and identifying their own issues which they can champion. Instead, they are reacting to issues that are being set by the ruling party. In a democracy, it is incumbent on the opposition political parties to not just react, but let the electorate, let the people know what they stand for and what are the issues that they want to want their voters to decide on. So therefore, I feel that apart from occasional instances like when the demonetization happened, where the political parties reacted, but even the opposition reaction has been without an agenda of its own. Now, having said that, let me also say that what Nitish Kumar has done by his statement on Monday is not just a statement that brings out the weaknesses in India's opposition political parties, but it also throws light on the kind of goals or ambitions Mr. Nitish Kumar has set for himself. It is very clear that Mr. Nitish Kumar sees that an opposition alliance will be less of a challenge to the BJP's combined might than probably he sees himself as somebody who can project his own leadership in own party. So he is distancing himself. First, he did distance himself from RJD. Second, he distanced himself from the Congress. And so far on the Trinamool Congress, one is not very clear what stance he is going to take. But it seems to me that quite apart from bringing out the weakness in the opposition political party strategy, he is also repositioning himself as the leader of the opposition group. Indeed.
You know, Mr. Tandon, do you believe that that's what Nitish Kumar is doing? He's safeguarding his own interests because he's seeing the opposition crumble around him. He said that, you know, in Bihar, we brought a Mahagathbandhan, we did very well. We could not replicate that in UP or any of the other states. So I'm going to safeguard my own interests now and then see what the other parties have to do in the future.
I doubt this was the message from Nitish Kumar. Well, my reading of Nitish Kumar's statement is, number one, firstly, he was provoked by Congress and Lalu Prasad Yadav to react like that. See, he is ruling Bihar with the help of Lalu Yadav and Congress. Now, he has sent out a message to both these alliance partners. Well, you will have to be in my coalition on my terms. You can't dictate terms to me, what kind of politics should I play. And I'm least bothered about the Bihar government survival. And in the process, he has got some kind of an insurance from the BJP by virtue of Sushil Modi's statement. So therefore, I think a message has gone very loud and clear to both Lalu Yadav as well as to the Congress.
That I am the boss.
Exactly, I am the boss and I know how to play politics. So on that score, I think as far as Bihar politics is concerned, he has literally sent out the message that, well, you need me in Bihar rather than I need you, because otherwise without my chief ministership or my government, where will you stand? What is your position? So number one. As far as the national politics is concerned, well, he has sent out a message to all the opposition parties. Don't tell me how to conduct politics. I know my politics. See, as far as GST is concerned, he said, I have been supporting GST from the beginning. There is nothing new about it. As far as the choice of the presidential candidate is concerned, well, he said, every party has a right to decide. Even Sonia Gandhi has said that every party has a right to decide the choice of its candidate.
Right.
So, but one thing which he has sent out very clearly is that I am not dying to become the combined leader of the opposition for 2019. And he said that I am not in the race for the prime ministership. Well, that is a very modest statement he has made.
So he knows his limitations is
No, he is trying to send out a message that when the time comes in 2019, in case there has to be a non-BJP, non-NDA government, you will come to me on the strength of my party rather than he said, I am not going to become somebody's Pichalagu. I am not going to be a follower of any party. So I think this kind of a very strong message which Nitish has, see, firstly, Ghulam Nabi Azad should not have made the statement which he made, undermining his secular credentials, and that provoked him. And Lalu also was trying to undermine. See, unfortunately, Lalu Prasad Yadav is in the habit of undermining his colleagues. Even in the UPA, he used to do it. But he can't take liberty with leaders like Nitish Kumar. So that is a message which he has sent out to both Congress as well as to Lalu Prasad Yadav. But the fact remains, see, all the 7 states or 6 states which are going to the poll in the next 18 months or so,
right,
or all where it will going to be Congress versus BJP. He is trying to send out a message to the Congress, prove your worth in the coming election, then talk to me. I have already proved my worth in the 2015 election, and I can still prove my worth in the coming Lok Sabha election.
Sure.
So he is very much in the reckoning for a combined opposition's potential prime ministerial candidate, but his own terms, not on the terms of anybody. So nobody can dictate a seasoned politician like Nitish how to conduct his politics.
Right.
It's a very strong message he has sent. I think it's a very, very significant political statement he has made.
Indeed, a shrewd politician sending out a very significant political statement. PM Narayanan, I'd like to bring you into the picture now, and try and get a sense of what the international press is thinking about this, and what's the reading really as far as the international press is concerned. Does the opposition really have an alternative narrative, as is being suggested, that it should come up with?
Basically, yes, of course, international press is not so keen on very specific, like state-wise political composition in India. But we can say, of course, the weak opposition in India is very much discussed across all media internationally. We all know that there is a huge vacuum in the opposition space in India. And I think Nitish Kumar is trying to pitch himself into that space by, as he said, by repositioning himself to take the lead in that, where he says that, okay, this is the way the opposition should operate. Like he said, there are issues in India, like the farmers' issues are there, and the cow vigilantism is there, Kashmir is burning. So there are enough issues around us, but the opposition is not in a position to encash on that. So what Nitish is saying that, okay, you set an agenda before opposing the things. Just opposing a situation doesn't work, but to be proactive, just put a different narrative. Especially that is what he was saying yesterday. Just put a different narrative to the people and take their confidence. Then you will be able to fight the huge BJP at present. I mean, this is the message that he is sending, and that is being conveyed across.
Sure. Right. Professor, there's so much said about the opposition. There are several issues, like has just been pointed out by PM Narayanan. But really, do you think the opposition has been able to cash in on this? Why hasn't the opposition really cashed in on some of these issues?
Because opposition doesn't have, I would say, courage of conviction. And if it has any, it's not showing. That's one. And Nitish Kumar is right when he says that you have to have a proactive agenda. But if you look at your people only as electorate, what you do, you think that when elections come closer, you will work at the dynamics, social dynamics. And that's how political parties always work. Because Nitish Kumar should remember that before 2011, even BJP didn't have an agenda. It was, in fact, Arvind Kejriwal who started all this, and then Congress started crumbling. So to talk about having a proactive agenda and then working on it and persuading people to come around it is not very convincing. Secondly, Nitish Kumar himself, what agenda he has apart from prohibition? There's nothing that's happening in Bihar at present. So if you go to Bihar, his credibility has taken a beating, severe beating. He doesn't have a political base. Politically, electorally, he is weaker than Rashtriya Janata Dal. His numbers are smaller. So, and he doesn't have a party. Really, he doesn't have a political party because it doesn't have a social base. It doesn't have a cadre. So politically, he is far weaker in Bihar than before. And in 2015, it was a smart coalition strategy that worked. It was not only Nitish Kumar. So Nitish Kumar is trying to position himself as he was before 2013. And we really don't know whether it's going to work or not. But yes, opposition does need to say very boldly that this is the vision we believe in. This is the kind of India we would like to build. And we would like to bring back social peace. We would like to bring back India's friendly relationship with its neighbors. So it has to present before the people a positive agenda.
A positive agenda, a positive outlook, a positive plan, which is lacking, lacking at the moment.
Because it has to talk about manufacturing, it has to talk about how would it ensure employment to its youth, and what it would do about education or health.
Sure.
These are the issues opposition needs to talk about.
Yes.
Or about farmers.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Tandon, you wanted to say something.
Yeah. See, what Nitish has said yesterday about the opposition narrative is basically a message to the opposition that mere anti-BJPism or anti-Modiism will not suffice for the purposes of an opposition unity. There has to be a cause. The cause cannot be just a negative narrative. So therefore, he talks of a positive narrative. And in that context, he is trying to spell out that, well, before we choose a leader, or rather we decide something, we should have something like a common minimum program. And as Professor is rightly saying, see, common minimum programs are, made when you are in the process of forming a government. Now, right now, the vacuum which you have been talking about is what ails the Indian opposition is, in fact, it's a very clear message to the main opposition party, that is Congress. Where do you stand? You talk of opposition unity. What is your position in the parliament and elsewhere in the state? You are losing state by state. And then you talk of being the leader of a coalition or a prospective coalition party, and you are trying to teach me that I am compromising on secularism. So basically, it's an attack on the Congress party, because they were in the forefront of attacking Nitish Kumar. So his talk of a positive narrative, in fact, is a message that don't talk only of anti-BJPism, as others are also saying, that the opposition has been only reactive. Even choice of the presidential candidate is also reactive. So their Nitish message is that let's have a positive agenda, not only talking only about anti-Modi or anti-BJP. And in that process, I think the next move he may suggest is that let there be some kind of a group of opposition leaders which should be talking about the agenda, or even agitational approach against the central government. Sure. In the see, what is the opposition doing in challenging the ruling party or this government, nothing. See, only you react to statements, you react to their action. So that way, he is trying to position himself as a matured opposition leader who knows things better than many of his other colleagues in the opposition.
Right.
So therefore, I think his statement should be taken seriously by all opposition parties.
Should
Sure.
I make a small
Yes,
point there?
yes.
You're very right, and but it's also very interesting that it was Nitish Kumar who, in fact, went to Rahul Gandhi. He went to the left leaders, and he told them that they should talk to Sonia Gandhi, who should take lead in bringing opposition together. So it was Nitish Kumar who, and we know that he went to CPI, Sudhakar Reddy, he went to Sitaram Yechuri, and he told Rahul Gandhi in Shri Krishna Memorial Hall in Patna that you should take lead. So what Nitish Kumar is doing, he himself is not presenting an agenda. He is demanding from Congress that you do it for us. And if you are not doing, then you are no good. So that's what he is doing, and it's very interesting.
Sure, sure. Mr. Bhattacharya, is there a long-term plan as far as the opposition is concerned? And, you know, like the previous panelists have pointed out, there have been several opportunities that have been missed. For instance, the presidential nomination itself, the Congress had the ball in its court to name a presidential nominee, but did not do so. Waited for the BJP to come out with a nominee, and a trump card was pulled out by Prime Minister Modi, and there was no turning back after that. And for that matter, you spoke about demonetization and how there was opposition unity at that point in time, but then there was a bilateral between Rahul Gandhi and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and then the other opposition parties really were miffed. So is the opposition losing the plot somewhere?
Well, you know, what's happening is that they are not really fully geared to identifying the many issues that should be staring at them in the normal course. The question is, aren't there issues that the opposition can grapple with and project and make their own? There are many issues. I'll just cite some of them. Farmers' distress. Now, this is a big issue. Now, you had a firing incident in Madhya Pradesh. Farmers were killed. There is an attempt by the Madhya Pradesh government to address the farmers' concern through various things. But where is the opposition voice there? Zero. There is a narrative which is going around in this country on marginalization of the minority communities, Dalits and Muslims. Now, what is the opposition doing about it? Do you, apart from Brinda Karat, has there been any other major opposition political leader who has tried to grapple with this issue and bring it to the fore? Number three, there's a GST, the countrywide indirect tax reform is being implemented. It is a major reform, but like any major reform, it is bound to cause some disruption. And most importantly, trade and the shopkeepers are privately very, very upset because of the manner in which it was implemented. Now, is there any political party, opposition political party, trying to take advantage of it? There is a deflationary situation which is steering the Indian economy because of a delayed impact of demonetization, plus what will happen after GST. Now, the question is the opposition really grappling with these issues, bringing these issues out in the open? So there are no dearth of issues in this country. It is just that the opposition has chosen to react to issues that the ruling party is bringing to the fore. So I don't think that this country it doesn't have enough issues. There are enough issues, but Nitish Kumar is only probably hinting at that where are the issues. And if the Congress wants, Congress can actually bring up all these issues. But the tragedy of India's opposition is that not one of these issues has actually been brought up in the last several months. And I don't think the state in which the Indian opposition is right now, I don't see them doing it either.
You know, I want to take this discussion forward, but before that, let me just get in PM Narayanan as well and talk about some of these issues that you've just raised. You know, Narayanan, how is the international media looking at some of these issues? Are they really serious issues for the international press? For instance, the lynchings that has been listed out, or for that matter, the farmers issue, or several of these other issues?
Yes, of course there is a feeling in international press that of course this lynching and the cow vigilantism is widely reported across the press internationally, and the farmers' issues are also covered widely. As we discussed now, there are a lot of issues that is really concerned to the common people of India, and this is being discussed in all press in India and outside. But the problem here is that the opposition is not able to encash upon that. The reason is there is no leadership in opposition, and I think Nitish Kumar is trying to position himself into the leadership table. And I think he is very cautious in this because we have this experience of the so-called third friends and other friends previously, like you just come just before the elections and hold a rally and just hold your hands together and make a friend. I mean, Nitish knows that it doesn't work like that. You should have a proper agenda, and Indian politics has changed. And this change, I think Nitish Kumar knows it's much better than other people, and that is why he is very cautious to take the leadership, and he is positioning himself. And I think he is consolidating these forces, and eventually he will be able to give some good suggestion to Rahul Gandhi. Maybe he will be able to take his words.
Sure. Okay. Quick closing comments from all my guests now. Mr. Tandon, taking the discussion forward that, Mr. Bhattacharya was making, what is it? The issues are all there, but somehow the opposition is not owning any of these issues. Is it lack of leadership? Is it lack of, lack of motivation? What is it really?
See, when we talk of opposition, obviously Congress party being the only other national party, it has to take the lead. But unfortunately, we don't discuss the Congress internal affairs on such forum. But the fact remains that the fault lies with the Congress in own leadership. See, unless they decide, see, there is obviously a debate going on within the party what to do with the leadership issue. They have been postponing Rahul's, taking over as the party president, but that's not the solution. So therefore, the problem lies with the Congress leadership, and they have to decide. I'm not going to comment on the leadership of the Congress as such, but they must come out.
That is an internal matter of the Congress, and is for them to deal with it. I, for one, believe
that in a democracy, there has to be a strong opposition. And unless there is a strong opposition, you can't really take on those issues which we are discussing. So the fault or the problem lies at the doorsteps of the Congress. It has to take a call about its leadership in future, and unless they are in a clear position to decide, therefore, they are not in a position to take up these issues, and so that is why there is a vacuum.
Single party opposition can do a far better job than this multi-pronged opposition
Obviously,
approach.
Because all others are regional parties, including Nitish Kumar. That is why they look towards the Congress party, but the Congress party has not been able to give a reply to these issues because of their internal problem of leadership. And they have to decide once and for all. And the delay they do in doing this, it will be, problem. In fact, not good for democracy.
A prime example was the GST launch, when certain members of the Congress were saying that, the Congress should represent or should take part in the launch, but then there are some sections of the Congress who said that they shouldn't take part. So there is no unity within the Congress.
No, I'm not talking of unity. I'm saying indecisiveness about the leadership.
Sure.
Where was their leader while all this was going on? Where was the need for Rahul to go abroad on a holiday? So that shows the, hollowness of the Congress leadership. It has not been able to come out of that kind of a crisis.
Sure. Professor, what's the way forward really for the opposition?
For it to regain its conviction. As you said that leaving Brindakarat, if you leave Brindakarat aside, no political leader thought of visiting Junaid. It was very symbolic.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was very symbolic that you visited Akhlaq, but when it came to repeated acts of lynching, you lost your nerve. And no political party even thinks of launching agitations. All these agitations are happening outside political arena. And it's very interesting because agitations are being launched by others and political parties are joining them. Because the anti-mob lynching protests were initiated by individuals. And what happened at Jantar Mantar, you saw political leaders going and joining. So opposition becomes a farce then. So Mr. Tandon is right that Congress will have to regain its conviction and will have to pursue it with courage, that these are the values we stand for. It has to be very bold, and it's lazy at present, and it's indecisive. So this indecisiveness has to go, and this laziness has to go.
Mr. Bhattacharya, but can somebody else take up this void that is being left behind by the Congress, or is it for the Congress only to rebounce and come and do something as a strong opposition party?
Well, you know, I personally feel that given the nature of the ruling party and the dominance which it exercises in governance, an alliance of sorts will be very unappealing to the electorate. So therefore, if the electorate has to be given a credible choice, the choice has to be credible, and it cannot be a coalition of different parties,
or 20
parties and trying to present a united face, which it doesn't remain for long. So unfortunately, opposition regaining its voice and coming into their own and posing a challenge to the ruling party, I don't see that happening.
Right.
But what can happen and should happen is that there are many issues which opposition political parties, whether they're regional or national, they can champion. And it is time in a democracy, opposition political parties do play a very critical role.
Right.
If they don't play that role and champion those causes, I think it will be very unfortunate and a sad reflection and a betrayal of the faith of the people the people have reposed in their leaders.
Indeed. All right. Quick closing comment from you, Narayanan, and then I'll wrap the show.
The answer is very simple. I mean, if you have a full-time government, you cannot oppose that with a part-time oppositions. Opposition should be serious, and they have to have a proper agenda, and that is what is lacking, and that is what Nitish Kumar is trying to define now.
Sure. All right. On that note, we'll call it a wrap on this edition of The Big Picture. A strong opposition is what we require for a strong democracy as well, is the outcome of this debate. Thank you so much, A.K. Bhattacharya, Professor Apoorvanand, Ashok Tandon and PM Narayanan for joining me on the program and putting things into perspective for us. That's all the time we have. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next time.